This is probably one of the classiest houses out there. I'm talking about Ormonde Jayne, and as promised, I'm doing a video on 9 of their fragrances. This is what I have in my collection, and I'm going to talk to you about Ormonde Jayne fragrances today in this ranked list. So if you're curious to learn about this most classy and elegant collection of fragrances from Ormonde Jayne, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today I'm talking about Ormonde Jayne, a collection of fragrances, a brand out of the UK in London. And I'm a fan of the house. In fact, I visited the house in London. They have a beautiful tiny little store in an arcade, which I'm drawing a blank what the name of the arcade was. But I was able to go there and sample their fragrances. In fact, the fragrances are also sold at Selfridges, and I believe they're also sold at Harrods. But they are sold here all over the USA at various retailers. In San Francisco, you can find them at CGO Perfumery. But what I like about the house is that they're very elegant fragrances, very, very classy, and really beautifully created fragrances, and that go into different directions. But I should be honest right up front and say this is not a house you turn to when you're looking for beast mode. The fragrances are not that. So in the end, the fragrances have really great longevity, but these are not screamer fragrances, but really great quality fragrances, I should say. And there's several that I really, really like. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the first fragrance that I'm ranking here at number 9. As I said, this is a ranked list. This is BYZANCE, this one right here. So this is fairly new to me. Perhaps I'll, change my mind later on as it progresses in my collection of how the fragrance wears and things like that on me. And right now I'm ranking it here at number 9. And it's the kind of fragrance that I really, really like. In fact, it's kind of very warm and spicy. And also this particular fragrance has milky qualities. But right now, since I'm not familiar with it too much, I've ranked it here at the bottom at number 9. Of course, this is what I have in my collection. There's a lot more fragrances from the house. But BYZANCE features notes of white woods, milky accord, Madagascar vanilla, balsamic accord, suede, cashmere, blackcurrant buds, pink berries, iris butter, and moss. So there's a lot of things happening here with the fragrance. In the end, it's a fruity, creamy, sweet, powdery, woody fragrance that wears beautifully. You definitely experience the milky qualities here. It's definitely lactonic, but a little more thicker in that it's not like a really runny milk. There's a creaminess about it, and there's also a very musky quality about it. It's a nice collection of notes that are mixed together beautifully. And again, as I was saying earlier, this is a house that you don't turn to for beast mode. I mean, the fragrances have great longevity, but they're not screamer fragrances. If you're looking for really loud, intense, Middle Eastern style beast mode scents, this is not what you turn to. But in the end, this particular fragrance is in that kind of a style, in that it's got that kind of a Middle Eastern vibe with it, but it's done in a way that it's definitely very wearable and it smells fantastic. But maybe perhaps this will move around the list later on. But for now, BYZANCE is here at number 9. So classy, elegant is what I keep saying about this house. And this next fragrance at number 8 is GATSBY 22. I feel like this is a fragrance inspired by the Great Gatsby, New York City, and the F. Scott Fitzgerald character and all that kind of stuff. And I could see that this is a perfect inspiration for this particular fragrance. It's very in line with the fragrances of Ormonde Jayne in that it has the right amount of notes everywhere blended in the fragrance, and nothing just screams out very, very loudly. Here we've got notes of musk, bergamot, orange blossom, vetiver, Sicilian lemon, pink pepper, tonka beans, leather accord, violet, and osmanthus. I feel like this fragrance kind of does lean a bit masculine, which is perfectly fine, named after the Great Gatsby and things like that, I believe. But for me, it's a very musky creation with loads of aromatics. There's definitely citrusy touches here, and it does come off a bit powdery, and then throughout the life of the fragrance, you'll experience some spiciness, some freshness, and some floral touches as well. There's definitely a bit of a I don't know, whenever I experience fragrances from Ormonde Jayne, the idea of juniper comes up, and although this one doesn't feature, but there's definitely kind of a gin kind of a wear here when I'm wearing this particular fragrance. For some reason, I don't know if that's a subconscious thing, but there's definitely a very kind of a clean, crisp juniper-like quality running throughout this GATSBY 22. But it's very, very fresh and musky and perfect to wear. And I think this one can be an all-year-round fragrance, but also I think it'll be perfect for when it's warm outside. So GATSBY 22 is number 8. So up next at number 7, it is Osmanthus. Do you guys know what Osmanthus is? It's a flower from a tree that is used as a tea in the Asian countries like China, but also it's used in perfumery quite a bit. And it has very fruity qualities, more like peaches and apricots and nectarines, but sometimes also plummy qualities. But not only does the Osmanthus go fruity, there's definitely light leathery touches as well. Here with Osmanthus from Ormonde Jayne, it's that same classy, elegant style of perfume making, but we've got an overdose of the fruitiness of the Osmanthus note here. And it's Osmanthus with Pomelo, there's water lily, there's jasmine, sambac, vetiver, artemisia, and musk. So the fragrance does settle to a musky, woody, vetiver grassiness, but up top it's very floral with the Osmanthus, and of course the water lily throws in a bit of a watery touch to the fragrance. And then jasmine sambac I feel like appears quite frequently with Osmanthus. Not only does it accentuate the Osmanthus floral touches, but it provides the boost of the floral energy it needs, because for me Osmanthus definitely does go fruity, and there's definitely fruitiness here for sure, and a bit of green quality, and I feel like you're wearing kind of like an apricot-y, peachy, fruity floral fragrance. So this is a really beautiful fragrance. Again, I feel like this is a perfect all year round fragrance, but for me this particular one shines all year round, and it's perfect in the heat, I think. So Osmanthus from Ormonde Jayne is at number 7. So up next at number 6, it's LEVANT, this one right here. So LEVANT is a beautiful fruity floral fragrance once again, and this particular fragrance utilizes orange blossom with peony and lots of citruses. And for me, when I'm wearing this one, I get a bit of a kind of an ambroxan boost, like the ambroxan that I find in something like Baccarat Rouge. I don't know if you guys, Baccarat Rouge 540. I don't know if you guys have sampled this, but I don't know if you guys get it. I somehow get it under there when I'm wearing the fragrance, so it's quite under there. This one also might lean a bit feminine, but it's beautiful. It's gorgeous to wear. It features orange blossom with peony. There's mandarin, there's musk, tangelo, bergamot, rose petals, jasmine, lily of the valley, cedarwood, and amber. For you guys, if you haven't tried LEVANT, I think if you like fragrances like Delina, and also fragrances like Fleur Narcotique from Ex Nihilo, because this one does remind me a bit of Fleur Narcotique. But in the end, as I was saying, I get that kind of Baccarat Rouge-like vibe way under there. So it's the combination of these kind of fruity floral fragrances with that kind of ambroxan muskiness that's quite deep dug under the fragrance. It's a beautiful fragrance. This one is definitely an all-year-round spring, fall, and I think also it'll shine in the summertime. But again, there's no rules whenever you feel like it and things like that. And this one actually also has great longevity. It clings on for a bit. It doesn't scream like I was saying earlier. It's not the screamer kind of beast mode showstopper kind of a fragrance, but it has some legs. So this is LEVANT from the house of Ormonde Jayne at number 6. So up next we've got Ormonde Man. Unfortunately, I don't have Ormonde Woman in my collection of fragrances, but I do have Ormonde Man, and this one is ranked at number 5 here on the list against the rest of the collection. And this is a very classy masculine offering. In here we have definitely the juniper berry presence here, and I do get that kind of a gin tonic like vibe with this fragrance. In the end, it's very, very woody and aromatic. It's cedar, cardamom, black hemlock, sandalwood, vetiver, pink pepper, juniper berry, oud, musk, coriander, and bergamot. And when you hear oud come up in Ormonde Jayne fragrances, most of the ones that I've experienced, it's not about the oud. It's there to kind of accentuate, to kind of like take the fragrance to the next stage. It's got more intensity and lots of strength, the oud note. So it's there to kind of boost up the fragrance, because you're dealing with a lot of aromatics and spices here and woods, and it's just another layer of a woody touch to boost up the fragrance and make it last longer. So for me, I get that gin tonic vibe with this one, but very, very spicy, very woody, and loads of aromatics with some citruses thrown in as well. It's a very classy fragrance for sure, but I think from what I see comments coming in on the channel, people or men generally do like this fragrance as a fragrance to wear as a signature fragrance, and I can totally see this as being a signature fragrance because it smells great. It's very, very aromatic, spicy, woody, and fresh for someone to wear over and over again. So this is Ormonde Man from the house of Ormonde Jayne. It's at number 5, and let me know what your thoughts are on Ormonde Woman. I've never really sampled Ormonde Woman, so I'd like to get my nose on it very soon. And up next at number 4, it's MONTABACO, this one right here, and very much in line with the collection of Ormonde Jayne fragrances. And here we don't have the ashiness. This is actually tobacco leaf, so you have a leafy, woody, kind of a grassy quality with the tobacco leaf instead of something that's been burned and turned into ash that's used against kind of like a sweet, ambery, vanillic fragrance. This is more aromatic, more spicy, and more woody, kind of in line with the Ormonde Man, but it goes into a little bit of a different direction. It has notes of tobacco leaf, there's ISOE super, there's tea notes, cardamom, air note, juniper, hedione, suede, magnolia, bergamot, ambergris, clary sage, and you name it. There's a lot of other notes that I'm not going to read to you, but there are these notes that really come to mind here for me. It's about the tobacco, ISOE super, tea notes, and the cardamom, pretty much what's running the show here. So there's kind of a cozy vibe when I experience the tea notes, and I think the tea and the grassiness, the leafiness of the tobacco leaves are wonderfully blended together. And then of course you've got that cardamom with its kind of pungent spiciness, but more fresh spicy, and then the overdose of the ISOE super to provide kind of a cedar sandalwood like vibe. So it's not a burned tobacco fragrance in the end, it's more of a fresh tobacco fragrance, and very, very classy and elegant to wear. If you like the idea of kind of an aromatic, spicy, fresh, woody, and also musky kind of tobacco fragrance, definitely try this one. It's MONTABACO, and I believe there's a few flankers of that fragrance which I haven't tried, but this is the Parfum version of MONTABACO. So up next at number 3, it's Ambre Royal, this one right here, and this is a very classy amber fragrance. If you like the idea of amber fragrances and you're overwhelmed from its syrupy, vanillic, molassesy qualities, definitely try Ambre Royal because it's amber in the end, but it's a very wearable amber, and this is the kind of amber you can also wear in the summer heat and it won't be cloying and things like that, especially if you are, you know, very sensitive to kind of heavy, thick, syrupy kind of notes. I'm not. I can wear ambers in the summertime, but some of you can't, and I think this would be perfect for that. Features notes of amber, ambroxan, osmanthus, iris, cedar, orchid, and musk. It's quite musky, also a bit fruity because the osmanthus, as I was saying earlier, with the osmanthus fragrance, does provide a fruitiness, so there's definitely a light fruitiness running throughout this fragrance. In the end, it's an amber. It's a totally wearable amber all year round when it's you know, summer and hot outside, also when it's cold outside. And I also like the ambroxan that's thrown in here. Some of you I know don't like ambroxan in fragrances. I really do, and I like the fact that it's here to intensify the ambery qualities, to give it a bit of molecular muskiness, and then also to provide some saltiness and also a woody, dry kind of musky experience with the amber in here. I think this is a great fragrance. That's why I've put it here, and it's for those folks, as I said, who don't like really syrupy, heavy, kind of cloying amber fragrances. Something a little more fresh, and I think this will do. Again, very elegant, very, very classy fragrances. Definitely Ambre Royal is one of my favorites from this house at number 3. So at number 2, it's a fairly new fragrance in my collection. It's EVERNIA. I really love EVERNIA. I think it's really, really fantastic. If you don't know what EVERNIA is, it's oak moss basically. And if you like the idea of oak moss in fragrances, you gotta get your nose on this one. There's definitely kind of a coniferous quality with this when I'm wearing it, like pine forest. I don't know where it comes from. Probably from the oak moss they're using, and it smells fantastic. It's oak moss with pink pepper, orris root, cashmeran, rose, and pepper. Sure, you're gonna get a peppery quality here, also very, very musky, and also there's the idea of pencil shavings in here as well, so it's quite woody, but the oak moss is perfect with the spiciness of the pink pepper. There's pink pepper and black pepper, so this is very, very peppery in the end, but I like that spiciness in this fragrance, and it's a nice contrast with the oak moss, and of course the coniferous coniferous touches that I get. Just imagine walking through a very spicy pine forest. It's that kind of a fragrance experience here. And I do get the pencil shavings quality as well. Just imagine you're walking through this forest and there's some, you know, trees being cut down and shaved and things like that, and so that smell is in the air with the fresh trees that are still on the ground, and also the ones that are being chopped up and things like that. So that's what I get with this one. EVERNIA is so good. I really love it, and I love wearing it. And then finally at number 1, I've spoken quite a bit about this one on this channel. It's Tolu. Paying tribute to Tolu balsam. So it's a balsamic note that's used in ambery fragrances. So this one, once again, it is ambery, and it's not your typical very heavy, cloying, syrupy, sweet amber. But in comparison to Ambre Royale, it definitely is. But what I like about this Tolu fragrance, using Tolu balsam, it's beautifully blended with orange blossom. So if you like the idea of ambery touches with that sweet, citrusy sweetness from orange blossom, it's here. It's perfectly blended together to create for a kind of an amber balsamic touch with orange blossom. But in addition to those two notes, we've got juniper, amber, tonka beans, olibanum, and rose. So it's an overdose of ambery qualities with the olibanum, with its resinous touches, and then of course the Tolu is really prominent here. But it wears beautifully. It smells fantastic. Really love it. I like the orange blossom and the ambery presence together. It might lightly hint at something like the idea of Love Don't Be Shy, because you've got orange blossom and amber presence here with the Tolu balsam, but that's like way down there. I don't even think it's similar, but for me, sometimes when I wear this fragrance, I get the idea of Love Don't Be Shy. It doesn't have the marshmallowy qualities, but in the end, Tolu balsam is a sweet ambery note, and you're, you know, blending it with orange blossom, so you get that kind of a quality. But it's a beautiful fragrance. Definitely deserves to be number 1. It's Tolu balsam, and at number 1 from Ormonde Jayne. Anyway, those are what I have for you today. 9 different Ormonde Jayne fragrances. Let me know what your favorite Ormonde Jayne fragrances are. Put a comment down so I can find out. And if you're a fan of these, what do you like about them? And if you don't like them, please let me know that as well. I'd like to find out why you guys like a certain fragrance and do not like a certain fragrance. Also, since this is the collection I have, what should I check out next from the house? Do let me know. Put a comment down. I'd like to dig in. As I said, they do sell the fragrances over here at ZGO Perfumery in San Francisco, so I can always go there and smell the fragrances. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.